is called, what is that book called? Reasons to Stay Alive. And that was really good too. So those are more like shorter memoir. I don't know how to describe them. It's like some of the pages, like the chapters are like 1 page long and they're just short little like musings. I enjoyed it. So I think he's a really great writer, and definitely his fiction, it has a lot saw someone say, like, I hope they cut this part out in the show, and someone else replied, oh no, they keep it the same in the show. So I have not watched on because I'm a little disturbed, and I don't think I'll read on in the series, because if she continues to do stuff like this, then it's just not for me. So yeah, The Duke and I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Alright, so the last book I read in July, so it's July right now, but this is just like what I've read so far this month, is this book, Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book was so good. This was exactly what I needed to read after The Duke and I. They had so much chemistry. It was like so well done. Like, I love this book. Gonna have a sip of my wine. So, this book, like I said, was very good. I'll read you the back. Chloe Brown is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. After almost, but not quite dying, she's come up with 7 directives to help her get a life, and she's already completed the first, finally moving out of her glamorous family's mansion. The next items: enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and do something bad. But it's not easy being bad, even when you've written step-by-step guidelines on how to do it correctly. What Chloe needs is a teacher, and she knows just the man for the job. Redford Red Morgan is a handyman with tattoos, a motorcycle, and more sex appeal than 10,000 Hollywood heartthrobs. He's also an artist who paints at night and hides his work in the light of day, which Chloe knows because she spies on him occasionally, just the tiniest bit. But when she enlists Red